Frank Luntz joins us now. He's a pollster and communication strategist. Frank, how do you think the public would react if the president tried to enforce voter ID without Congress, presumably through executive action?
Well, here's the thing. The public supports by over 70% positive voter ID. So he's on the right side. But if he were to do it without congressional approval, the public would turn against that. And that's one of the stories of the election now in 2026. They support much of the agenda. He's on the right track, but they don't like the implementation of it. They don't like the noise around it. And so if the president commits unilateral action, he will get significant opposition. But, and I want to emphasize, more than 70% of Americans believe that you should have to produce a positive ID to prove who you are before you vote.
Yeah, and it's likely if he does that, of course, through executive action, it would likely be challenged. I'm not sure the Supreme Court would clear it up before the midterms. And I want to talk to you more about those midterm elections coming up. What does each party need to do? Where do they need to focus in order to come out ahead?
The Republicans have to focus on results. They've been in charge now for a year, and they have to be able to show that what they've done has had a meaningful, measurable impact on the average voter, and they have not succeeded up to this point. In fact, at the end of 2025, they were leading the Democrats in almost every generic vote poll. But what we have seen over the last 100 days is that Democrats, and some of this is because of the health care legislation, the American people cannot afford their health care. And they look at the Republicans who don't seem to be doing anything about it and saying, why? We can't afford our food, we can't afford our homes, but healthcare is something that everyone needs. On the Democratic side, they seem to want to make a statement rather than make a difference. And so much of their stuff has come across as being political and partisan and simply critical rather than making a difference in people's day-to-day lives. So at this point, both political parties are at their very close to their all-time lows in terms of public credibility. And by the time we get to November, we may have a situation where the public simply doesn't want to vote for either political party because they're so angry and frustrated. And what they're saying to Americans is, enough already. Do something, get something done.
A lot of high-profile Democrats we saw attended the Munich Security Conference this week, sort of looking to counter President Trump. Is this sort of their opportunity to start campaigning for 2028?
Well, you got that logo that's up right now. All of those people have been talked about as presidential candidates, and all of those people have opinions that are separate from the administration and what it's trying to accomplish in foreign policy. I'm not surprised that they went. I think it's somewhat of a distraction. And frankly, this is the one place, foreign policy, where we used to be not Republican, not Democrat, but American. And the fact that that has dissipated over the last year is problematic. I've delivered on this show several times a warning to the public that at some point we can't recover. At some point, you simply break the system. And I'm very concerned. I will have the opportunity to address governors later on this week. And my message to them is the public trusts you more than anyone. The public looks to you for leadership more than anyone. For the governors, they need to work together, they need to cooperate, and they need to lead. The public is very frustrated with what's happening or not happening in Washington, and they believe that the governors are the solution. So let's get at it. Let's move forward.
It'll be interesting to see how that message is received. Frank Luntz, thank you.